What's up, everyone? Today is December 21st. It's a Tuesday. I know I haven't been making videos too often these days. Ever since I started college, I've been a bit busy, and I just finished finals, so I've been training kind of on and off, not so consistently, but I definitely want to get back into it again. Um, I know I haven't been active in the Discord either, but as I said, I want to start trading consistently again, and I wanted to also post videos more consistently, just because the purpose of these videos is not only to document my own journey, but obviously to educate other people. So let's get straight into it. I want to go over a trade or trade thesis today that was on Uber, and uh, formulating trade ideas, especially in this market, has been extremely tough. So just to give you some background before I go into Uber, I want to start off with SPY and QQQ and show you what we've been dealing with recently. So ever since the end of November, I'd say beginning of November was actually phenomenal. October, even up to November, we had a very bullish movement. But obviously, once what once we have such an extreme rally, it makes sense for the market to either pull back or consolidate for longer periods of time, and that's where the market starts to get really choppy. So I'd say from November 22nd to up to now, we've been trading in this range from all-time highs all the way down to 5,500 or 4,500. So we've been trading in about a 200 point range in ES. So we've clearly been lacking direction, we've clearly been lacking momentum, and we've clearly been lacking volatility. And as a result, we haven't had these clean breakouts, which we saw a couple months ago, especially near the beginning of this year as well. That being said, I want to go into Uber quickly before I go into Uber. Very similar thing with NQ. NQ is a bit weaker than ES. A couple of you may be wondering, how do you determine whether SPY or Qs is weaker, and what benefit does that have? So the reason I say Qs is weaker is because if you look at Qs, we've been putting in higher lows. So we put in this higher low on November 22nd, and then the second higher low. No, not higher low. My bad. I meant to say lower high. So lower highs is a bearish sign. So December 22nd, we put our first high, and then December 16th, we put in this lower high. Compare that to ES. Haven't really been putting in any lower highs. Instead of putting in lower highs, we've been just trading in this range. And the thing with ES is that with ES we're trading near the top of its range, somewhere in the mid, while NQ is trading somewhere near the bottom of its range. So all that tells me is these tech stocks such as Tesla, Nvidia, AMD, all of these major tech companies, Apple, Microsoft, Netflix, are all trading weaker. So it may be a little bit more difficult to go long on these names as opposed to financial companies like Boeing, and some of these other names that aren't traded too often, such as Uber, Snap, Docu. But that being said, I just wanted to quickly brush over what Q and SPY have been doing and why this market has been so tough to trade. But nonetheless, let's go straight into Uber now. Uh, yeah, instead of doing a blank chart, I can just mark Uber straight. So as always, um, I want to start off with a higher time frame and just see what Uber's been doing. So on a daily time frame, um, it Uber definitely got killed. I'd say we dropped from 48 to 34, so it's probably like a 20-30% retractment on the equity itself, which is kind of a big deal. But what I liked about Uber was several things. Um, First, on a higher time frame, you can see that Uber uh, had a pretty significant pullback, but it found support from this 35 to 36 area. So, support and resistance sometimes are kind of difficult to pinpoint as a line. So I'm just going to use this green box to illustrate support. So we found support here multiple times. So NYSE means, what do you call it? ES. So let's see. So I'd say from about 12, 13. Sorry, I don't know why this blue line keeps popping up. If anybody knows how to, get rid of it permanently, please let me know because it's been kind of annoying. But right here, 12:20. So just from this period, December 16th all the way to like December 20th, SPY kind of dropped. What I liked about Uber is, we kind of held value, and that may be kind of difficult to see, but just look at this action from December 13th all the way up to December 20th. December 22nd was a breakout day, so if you exclude this day, look at this action on the daily chart from December 13th to December 20th. So you can clearly see that after significantly moving lower, we found support from this 35 to 36 area, and we started making higher lows on the daily time frame. So now if I switch back to ES, December 13th to December 20th, where's December 13th? Here, we didn't really make higher lows. In fact, SPY moved lower. So you can see from December 13th all the way down to December 20th, SPY moved lower. So that was telling me that, if we make higher lows, or if the equity makes higher lows as opposed to SPY or QQQ, it lets me know that there's relative strength or buyers on a higher time frame. If Uber had breached this 35 to 36 support area, then I wouldn't even consider taking this trade, especially because it's been so weak. But I just like the fact that we had this area, or this area of support from 35 to 36. So that was the first thing which caught my attention. At this point, I'm looking at a possible plan, or a possible trade thesis on Uber. And what I do next is, I mark up my areas of supply and demand. So let's quickly see if we can find anything. Had 4-hour demand right here. Just gonna extend this box for now. But this is a clear illustration again of these higher lows. Each low is higher than the previous low, which is a bullish sign. We obviously formed 3-hour demand today. Oh, we also had this 3-hour demand right here. So this is another really, really good just price action tip. Let me get rid of this box temporarily so you can see what I mean. When a stock moves higher and forms demand, if it comes and retests it and moves higher and moves higher and creates a new higher low, that is a very, very good sign, because it lets you know that buyers first created this low right here. The rest of these orders got filled, and we started moving higher. So this is a very, very good price action tip. It's something to look out for when you create possible trade ideas. But I really like the fact that, we are creating demand on the way up. On top of that, when we created demand, we retested it and moved higher. So that 4-hour demand that I first drew wasn't as clean. I really, really like that 3-hour demand. On the supply side, I was marking up supply this morning. This was really the only clear supply I saw. Right here, 2-hour supply. If you want, you can go through the other time frames and look for yourself, but this was really the only clear supply I saw. And in terms of demand and supply, that's about it. Obviously, let me mark up this 2-hour supply now, but I don't really think I'll be trading Uber for a while, especially because a breakout play happened today. But in terms of demand and supply, I'd say that's it. Obviously, let's move on now. Once we, first look at a blank chart, then we move on to supply and demand. Next, you want to look for key levels or psychological levels. So what do I mean by psychological levels? I mean, these whole rounded numbers like 30, 40, 50, 60. These are all very, very important areas which every trader should pay attention to. And, you're probably going to see a lot of, interest around those levels. So this 40 area is a psychological level. On top of that, it's a resistance level, which has acted as support and resistance multiple times in the past. This is super, super clear. So you can see price, respecting this area, acts as resistance, breakthrough, we break down, acts as resistance, again, Tuesday 9:30 acts as resistance, and then all of yesterday, this 40 area, or all of yesterday, 40 was acting as resistance. So knowing that, we're making higher lows on the daily time frame, knowing that we're creating demand, and once we pull back into demand, we get bought up, and also knowing that we have this key level at 40 and it's a psychological level, plus we have this gap to fill, and finally we have no supply nearby. So when I say when I say a high quality setup, this is what I mean. I mean that Uber first of all shows relative strength compared to SPY and Qs on a higher time frame. Two, it's creating demand and dips are getting bought up. Three, we're breaking a key psychological / resistance level. And four, there's no supply. And finally, or five, we have a gap to fill. So there were a lot of confirmations to Uber. So in my opinion, this was a very, very, good trade thesis. And now all that's left to do is execute. So there's multiple areas you could have got in. In my opinion, obviously 9:30, this breakout was the best. So you can see that, we broke this area of resistance. We pulled back. A lot of traders probably got stopped out, but you have to keep in mind that once we break an area of resistance, it now turns into support. So now that we had broken 40, we pulled back, we retested this 40 area, we broke high of day, we pulled back, broke high of day, pulled back, broke high of day. So you can see that this is a very, very bullish sign. Every single low is higher than the previous low. So our first low is at 9:30. If you're confused by higher lows, let me just illustrate it for you for the newer traders here. First low right there, second low right here, which also retested this 40 area. Next low right here. Next low right here. Next low right here. So just like that, every single low is higher than the previous low. So, if you didn't even catch this entire move up, even a portion of this move would have paid really, really nicely. Obviously, a couple of people may be wondering, why did you, why would you sell early when your final target is 44? You have to keep in mind that, Uber moving from 40 to 44 in one day is very, very unrealistic. From 40 to 42 was what, almost a 6% move today. So it's very, very unreasonable that, Uber is going to move like 15-16% in one day. It's really just not possible. Or if it is possible, the chances are very, very unlikely. Hence, when supply is that far away, the best thing to do is use psychological areas as profit targets. So, if you entered at 40, 41 could be a first good profit target, and, your final TP could be at 42. And look where we found resistance today, exactly at 42. That's what I mean by these psychological levels acting as support and resistance. Every time we tried breaching 42 right here, we failed to get above. Especially, we got above it at the close and then we pulled back. So this is very, very healthy price action, especially when we break a major breakout level, which we've been consolidating for the last month. Once we break it, we're expected to see pretty strong volume and then retest it and then move higher. Again, if you had missed this first entry right here, this retest opportunity would also have proven to be a nice opportunity. However, you also have to pay attention to SPY and Qs. At 9:45, pretty sure SPY was selling off. Right at 9:45, SPY was selling off. So maybe that retest opportunity wasn't the best. In this case, it did. In other cases, it might not work. But I am just showing you all possible theoretical examples and just my entire overview on Uber today. But that's about it for the video. I kind of explained, what SPY and Q have been doing recently, and then the entire trade thesis on Uber. So if you like this video, please give it a like, please subscribe, and let me know what other types of videos you want me to record in the future. Have a good Tuesday, and we will be back to trade tomorrow and for the rest of the week.